So, getting Scratch onto your iPads, devices, laptops, computers, anything, it works on anything. All I'm going to do is type in Scratch 3, and as you can see there's lots of different options, so I'm just going to press load. The first one that should or might appear is this Scratch Imagine Program and Share. All I do is click on this hyperlink and it takes me straight into Scratch. Here we are. And if I click on the Create button, it'll open the project, give it a chance, and just press that close button. Okay, that's a little guidance as to what Scratch is. Welcome to lesson 1. This is looking at Scratch and just getting the sprite, the character, to move around and looking at how we navigate around our different code and our controls on the left hand side here. So let's get started. On the right hand side here you can see a Scratch character, which is this cat. What we're going to do is we're going to investigate and navigate our way through the different options over here to get the character to move. So as you can see, we've got motion, looks, sound, events, control. Don't worry about sensing operators, variables and blocks yet. We'll not be looking at those until later on. Our first challenge is going to be getting this sprite, this cat, to move around the screen. So as you can see, I'm moving him at the minute. I've just clicked on him with my mouse, or if you're on an iPad or a tablet, you just need to hold it down with your finger, and I'm going to move him over to the left-hand side here. I want him to move across the screen to the far right by using some of the coding blocks. I'm just going to click onto the blue one here, which is motion, and I'm going to pull across this move. If you want to make the code appear bigger, you can just press the plus, and if you want to make it smaller you can click the take away. Okay, I'm just going to make it a bit bigger so you can see it. If I click on that code, you'll spot that the cat starts to move along. Okay, I'm going to pull another one down so that we're going to almost have them in a long list, one under the other. Always place the code below, and you can see that the cat moves a little bit more. I want to see if I can get this cat to move and notice the difference between the two bits of code that I've put on here. So I'm just going to go over to my code across here on the left hand side. I'm going to click on my weight. You can see I'm just in my control. I'm going to pull a block in and I'm going to just hover it between the two. You can see that it'll let me put it anywhere, but if you hover it between the two, it'll let you snap it into place like that. To get the code to run, all I'm going to do is press on the top code and I'm just going to watch as the cat moves across the screen. I'm going to pick him up, hold him down with the mouse or my finger on the iPad and just pull him back across to the very beginning. Now, as I've spotted, this cat doesn't move very far, very quickly, so I'm going to have a look at these numbers here that are interchangeable, which means I can change the value and put in a larger value. So I'm going to put in 40. And I'm going to do the same at the bottom. And I'm just going to click on the code and I've spotted that the cat moves a lot further, and I can see that little wait button in between. Always make sure that the children are reading the code as you go along. So I want a little bit more control over my cat. I'm moving it where I want it to go, but I'm going to pop across here to my events button, and you can see that they're yellow, the control buttons are orange. So I'm going to go back to my yellow button and I'm going to pull across this top one here. This will start the code running. Okay, so when I click the flag, he's going to move 40, wait, move 40. So I'm just going to pull him back, click on that flag again. If I click it again, it'll happen again. So our challenge is to try and change this code to see if we can get the cat to move right across the screen to the other side. So let's see if your answer is the same as mine. I'm going to try 60 and 60 and just have a look at the difference and see what that's made. So 60 is not quite right, so I'm going to try 100 because I think that that character needs to move quite a lot. I'm going to pull it back. Remember that you can click the code here or you can click the green flag up here. Okay, if I click this code, this program here will run and this sprite will move. Okay, so I'm going to click. So I'm going to try 150. Yours might be slightly different depending on what device you're on, so don't worry if it's slightly different to mine. I'm going to pull them back and press. Pretty happy with that. I might go up to 180 just to get it exactly how I want it to be. One more try. Remember, don't worry if your code is slightly different to mine. Perfect. He's right at the far side. Now we've got our sprite, our character, to move across the screen. We might want to add another layer of interest into this project, which is to get him to move towards a target, something on the other side of the screen that we want him to collect. So if you look where my cursor is, I'm going to move right down to the far right hand side here, and I'm going to go on to this magnifying glass. So as we go up, it will tell you what they are. So there's a magnifying glass for choosing a sprite. You can make your own sprite. You can have a surprise, which it'll select the sprite that you can have on the screen, or you can upload a sprite. So I'm just going to go to here, the magnifying glass, click onto it, and you should see a big library of all the different ideas. I'm going to just go on to my food because my cat is hungry. I'm going to grab my cake and I'm going to click on the cake and move across to the other side. If you're on a tablet or an iPad, you can just put your finger on it and pull it across. And you'll spot that we've got now two sprites at the bottom here, the cat with the code and the cake, the other sprite, with no code because we don't want it to do anything at the moment. So just to end with a top tip, just something that you'll spot when you start programming a lot more using Scratch. When you click on your different sprites at the bottom here on the bottom right hand side, you will find that when you click on one, the code disappears. The program, the algorithm that you've written has disappeared. That's because you haven't written any program for the cake. Okay. If I click back on the cat, you'll spot that the program, the algorithm that you've written has dropped back in. Okay. So don't be worried if you think you've lost your code.